Hello, my name is Johanna DiBiase, and I am a nature therapy guide, writer, yoga, and meditation instructor, energy worker, and a nature lover. And I teach a method of nature writing that anyone and everyone can do called Intuitive EcoWriting. So if you are here watching this introductory video, then you are probably interested in writing. Maybe you want to write for healing or personal growth, for the pure joy of creating, because you have something you need to say. Maybe you want to create better content for your business, or maybe you have a project in mind like a book. The why isn't as important as the how. If you want to write with your authentic voice from your truest, deepest self, then you need to ignore ego. Ignore the desire for wealth and fame, if you have some writers have that. Ignore concerns about what other people are going to think, and instead channel writing from the creative source. So I'll get to that more in a bit. First, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and my journey. I was a professional writer for 25 years. Since I was 13 years old, I knew that I wanted to be a writer in some form or another. I got my bachelor's in writing in New York, and then I started teaching small community classes in Alaska, where I moved to after college. And I loved that experience so much, I realized I wanted to teach writing. So I then went on to get my MFA in writing in Vermont. Since then, I've taught grad programs for writers, undergrad programs. I've taught at writing conferences. I've taught at high schools. I've taught at camps. I've taught all over the country. And it's something I really love. I'm really passionate about teaching. But the kind of teaching that I was doing was similar to how I was taught in academia. And we teach what is called writing craft. So it's the different tricks and tools of the trade that are meant to enhance your writing skills. For example, I've taught character development, creating settings, writing subplots, things like dialogue, show don't tell, narrative arcs, how to use strong language, and so on and so on. And this is all really important stuff to know. The problem is that the more we teach this, the more everyone starts to sound a little bit alike, right? Which is great if you're an industry writer. That's a lot of what publishers are looking for. I've published 2 books, a novella called Mama and the Hungry Hole, and a poetry chapbook called Gestation, and I'm very proud of both of them. I published them with indie presses. However, when I hit my midlife, I realized I was kind of over it. There's a real time during our midlife where we reconsider what we're doing with our lives and take another look. And I was kind of done with the whole literary publishing industry, the academic writing system too, which I personally feel really feeds into a hierarchical system with a lot of gatekeepers and a lot of rejection. And I was tired of all the hustle for very little reward often. So I don't want to get into that too much, but most importantly, I realized that I wanted to be of greater service to the world. And writers can really be of great service to the world in so many ways. But I didn't feel like what I was doing was in service, or was in enough service for me to feel like I was really fulfilling my purpose. So I took some time off from my writing career to just, figure things out. And that's kind of the period of time when Intuitive EcoWriting was born, because I knew what my core values in life were firstly, nature. I live off the grid in New Mexico, and I'm an animist slash witch slash pagan slash tree hugging hippie. And I love all things nature and natural. Also, spirituality is another core value for me. I've been a spiritual seeker my whole life. I've been teaching yoga since 2015, but I've been practicing since I was 19 years old. Connection and being in community is also really important to me, as is creativity. I'm a very creative person. I'm a writer and a collage artist, and I also love to cook, to upcycle, to dance, to play guitar and drum, and just all kinds of creative pursuits. And so in 2020, I took writing outdoors and started using it as a way to commune more with the natural world. So you might also realize that 2020 is when the pandemic hit, the coronavirus pandemic, and being outdoors was one of the few safe places we could be. And a lot of people wanted to be outdoors at that time too. So to write about nature, you must experience nature. It can be as simple as Mary Oliver's, actually I think it was Annie Dillard, probably both of them, who kind of just made a habit of walking into their backyard every day and just paying close attention. So they didn't have to go very far, have any big adventure. Or Edward Abbey, who had great, wonderful adventures in Utah and wrote about them. It's generally practiced in nature, but nature is a narrow idea. Nature is everywhere and in everything. Humans are nature. Don't let terms like man-made or synthetic fool you. Everything comes from the earth and the stars. Humans are simply glorified animals. We might live in houses and buy food at grocery stores instead of foraging for them in the forest, but we are animals and we are nature. Writing about nature, either as a means of writing about place and habitat or environmental issues, or as a means of writing about the more than human world, allows us to tap into a part of ourselves that is more closely linked to our surroundings. More emphasis is put on the world around us instead of the world inside of us, though both play a part in our writing. So you don't have to live in a rural area or travel to remote mountains to nature write. You can do it from your home, just as long as you are inspired to do so. Many people are intimidated by writing because they think they must be good at it. But good is subjective, despite what the literary journals and publishing industry want you to believe. Anytime you write from your imaginal heart or your sensory body, using your authentic voice, the words that are true for you, your writing is good. And because it is true and raw and daring and unique, and it's true for you. So many times we can't access our creative brains because they are overstimulated. And we are bombarded with information coming at us every day from every direction. If you live in a culture where intelligence is the most important trait for achievement, then your mind is even more trained to be active. In this case, you might not be particularly connected to your body. Learning to clear our mind and tap into our sensory experience allows us to invite creativity in. This also helps us to get out of our right brain analytical thinking and use more of our left brain creative processing. Being relaxed makes it easier to be in a flow state, which will allow words in turn to flow. So looking to relax our overthinking, over analytical mind is part of the process. And nature is always in a flow state. Nature flows continuously, like the Rio Grande from Colorado to the Gulf of Mexico. From trickle to rapids, it continues to flow. Like the more than human world, we are also innately in flow, but we're most often distracted by our thought loops or entertainment outlets, other indulgences, and yet we will find that if we turn inward, there is a deep well of quiet in which inspiration and creativity can spring from. Creation is happening constantly all around us. Nature is constantly in a state of creation. And we are nature. And we are also have the same ability to be in a constant state of creation as well. Intuitive eco-writing means that we use guided meditation and embodiment tools, as well as timed free writing practices, embodied writing practices that help us to enter a more relaxed state where we can channel the creative muse that is innate in all of us, and also where we can connect more deeply with the world around us. So this class includes 5 lessons. Each one has a short video lesson explaining one of the 5 topics, which include free writing. That's the first lesson. You learn that straight off the bat. Vivid details, writing in vivid details. Mining memories. How do we access our memories and mine our memories? The imaginal realm, which is taking us just beyond the physical. We'll get into that more in that lesson. And figurative language, like using metaphors. Lessons also include audio meditations. All of the audio meditations can be downloaded and taken outside with you. I label which ones are necessarily for outside and which ones can be done inside. And then after going through the whole class, you may choose to just use the audio meditations in the future. You can use the Kajabi app to have all of this on your phone. And then each lesson also includes journal prompts that you can do on your own anytime that you wish. So you always have those journal prompts that you can use after you go through the entire class. The class is 5 weeks. Each lesson is dripped out to you week by week, so you can really take that whole week to get to know the topic well, to practice the topic, to do the audio meditations. And I also include research assignments in each lesson. And typically these are not writing. They're optional, of course, but they're just different ways in which you can engage with the natural world more to specifically enhance your writing skills, your nature writing skills. So having that week between lessons really gives you time to try 1 or 2 of the research assignments, the practicum, the experiential aspect of the course. Okay, so I think that's plenty of info to start. If you're interested in learning more, check out the link below and contact me with any questions.